Today I'm going to talk about reincarnation. Reincarnation is kind of a bad word in our culture, in the Christian culture of the United States. We kind of think that only Jesus can incarnate, the rest of us can't, which is just not true. Anybody does incarnate. We incarnate regularly. We just don't remember it because we don't have any memory of our former life because we've chosen to forget that we have a former life. So we don't have any memory of a former life because we don't want to have a memory of it. And so we keep going through a life, suffering and dying and being reborn again. This isn't the smartest thing in the world. This is for people who are blind, people who are asleep. And as Jesus said, you must join the living and leave the dead to bury the dead, that kind of thing. So that's what he's trying to say, is that don't follow the status quo, because the status quo is not right. What's right is we're eternal beings. We do live forever, and we reincarnate. There's and according to Seth, Jane Robert Seth, there are incarnational cycles. Every incarnational cycle has 7 incarnational personalities. Like we dip into the physical materialization and incarnation 7 times in a cycle. Now that corresponds with the rainbow, with the 7 plus 1 is 8 musical notes, with the 7 primary chakras. So 7 is a key element in our mind in this reality. We separate things into 7 for reasons unknown to me. And so, according to Seth, the Godhead is composed of 3 entities. And the entities that began this incarnational round in 68 BC started with Cleopatra of Egypt. And the Egyptians had the inner knowledge. They understood it, but they were losing it. And she came probably, I guess, to restore it. And her 2 brothers, Ptolemy the 12th, he was actually Don 1 of the Carlos Castaneda books. And Ptolemy the 13th, that's actually Seth. He incarnated with Cleopatra. So the 3 of them, they worked together, or they came in to work together in this present incarnational round. And there was a problem. Julius Caesar was assassinated, and there were some issues that happened. And so I would guess that got derailed. And in fact, that's what Seth says, that got derailed. And so because Julius Caesar was assassinated, and then Cleopatra's brothers they got murdered in say, out of that happening, but she was able to protect her son Ptolemy Caesar, and that's not in the history books, so because they had to change the history in order to protect him. That's another point which I'll talk about later. He later used the name Philemon, and it shows up in the Bible. And so Seth says that his first incarnation was Ptolemy the 13th. Cleopatra's youngest brother, and then his second incarnation was John the Baptist. Cleopatra's second incarnation was Jesus, and Don Juan's second incarnation was Paul. And then so they move on and they go into a third incarnation, and they're always working together. Cleopatra is sort of separate but they're working on the same subject. So St. Augustine of Hippo was Seth in the third incarnation, and Pope, I can't forget his name, anyway, the Pope he worked with, he was an important Pope, Pope Gregory. He was Don Juan, and Cleopatra, she came in separately as, I can't remember at this moment, I don't have my notes with me. So anyway, then they went to the fourth incarnation, And that was, oh my. Let's go right to the fifth. The fifth incarnation was, the fourth incarnation, Seth was Christopher Jones, the owner of the Mayflower, and he was a Templar. In the fifth incarnation, he was Benjamin Franklin, and same fifth incarnation of Don Juan was John Hancock, and Dolly Madison was the fifth incarnation of Cleopatra. So these are important. If I go back when Cleopatra was also Father Juniper Serra, and the one I couldn't remember was she was Saint Patrick, who founded the Catholic Church of the Christian Church in Ireland. Saint Patrick, important figure. That's why he's remembered so much. And so that's what. And then from there, Jane Roberts is the sixth incarnation of Seth. And anyway, so that's enough for now. And so, the sixth incarnation of Cleopatra was Anne Frank, who was sent to a concentration camp and became a comfort girl for the prisoners and for the Nazis, or for the prisoners and the Germans. So you can see these. There's a method to the madness. There's a flow across incarnations where and these are just those three, but we have a flow where we dip into the physical world and incarnate and produce a physical image, but the long flow of events is continuous, and it goes through the inner planes. You're in spirit most of that time, but we're moving towards a final element here, and Christianity has been the main element of this incarnational round. But this one is ending, and the next one, which I've already talked about, is the age of Aquarius, and this throws all that off, throws the mythology off. Aquarius is where you become free, and you learn that you create your own reality, and that's where we're heading. And in this age, hopefully, we'll be able to throw off the endless incarnations, we'll end the suffering in death, which is illusion, and we'll move to a new world where we create our own reality. We know we do, and we know how we package things into stories, which is called Gnosticism. I guess that's enough for the moment. I just decided to do this without any notes, just because I can. So I'll see you next time. Thank you for visiting, and subscribe if you like. You may not like this video, but I think the video has good information. It's not perfect, but it's got the information, what I'm looking for. You're going to learn with this channel and with the Seth podcast. You are going to learn, and that's my purpose. Thank you.